stories or posts and basically had begged them to help me win or something, which I never did. A comment was made when I was in the queue to get a drink from the bar. One of the coordinators came up to me and said, "Oh, I've shared one of the booking surgeries links to Lawrence for him to put it on his stories, and hopefully you get more support." And I turned around and went, "I hope that's my link," as a sarcastic sort of jokey thing, not I hope you've given my link. Or I didn't say it maliciously. It wasn't intended that way at all. It was just, I was told by a coordinator I'd shared one of the links. He didn't know apparently whose link it was that was shared to this other influencer, and I just made a snark remark or jokey comment of, "I hope that was my link." It wasn't intended in a bad way, but that was twisted, and he went from whatever I'd said and spoke to other pageant lists, other pageant girls, of what I'd said, and twisted it and said that I'd been begging for them to share it on Sir Lawrence's page, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, but I didn't. So then this affected the other girls, because then they thought I was being snaky, I guess. I don't know the word. And if I was in the other position, I'd probably think the same. But even though when I tried to explain it, whose word they're going to take? A coordinator who's meant to be respected, who's meant to be professional, over someone that is in the public eye with posting videos and stories and sharing their experience, and also comes across and gets read the wrong way. Like, seriously. But this said coordinator is a well-known bullshitter, a well-known shit stirrer, is someone that I've held at length since I had my first plastics in January 2025, and that's only because he came into my room with me and my mum and slagged off other patients, other influencers, and even told me of massive influencers such as Scarlett Black and what surgeries she had done free. That's not professional. That is wrong. And from that moment, even my mum lost respect for him to do something like that. I was like, he's a bit dodgy. And then hearing some bad throughout of 2025, up to the pageant, of what he's like, the fact that he says one thing, then says another, but then he turns around and says, "Oh, it's because I've got ADHD, because I don't know how to shut my mouth, because I say one thing," and then he forgets what he says, but it's black and white there in messages on WhatsApp. Oh, and this coordinator is David Turker. Someone who is very high up with the owners. Regardless of me pointing out the flaws and the issues and situations of what he did at the pageant and how he twisted stuff, I spoke to the owners and they were like, "But that's just David, that's how he is, that's what he's like." Even his wife backed him up. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt because of his ADHD, and I was also diagnosed recently. Like, I know what it's like. You open your mouth without intending to, but as a professional person, you shouldn't speak to other people about other patients. It's just, that's confidentiality that is broke, and that is negligence. So yes, I might be in the wrong for sticking with booking surgery and accepting free surgery. Following on, I have gone back and forward, but following on from the messages with Basak, she then said, "Is there anything your mum needs?" I'm like, "No, mum doesn't want anything, thank you." She was like, "We'll try and find something." My mum doesn't want anything. Like, she's not that way inclined, she's not the type of person, she's not extravagant, she doesn't do drastic changes. I mean, for Christ's sake, she's 64, like, she was 64. She's not gonna want surgery. She's happy with how she is. Speaking to my husband in regards to what do I do, and he's like, realistically, sticking with booking surgery might be the best bet because they've always been there. And then again, it was the cost, the money, and then if Yalcin couldn't fit me in January. It's then time he's got to mess about with work, and it's not fair to mess work about as well as the kid. There's just so many cons. But then I felt awful because I had people message me saying, "Why are you not going with Yalcin? Why have you changed your mind?" I ended up blocking a few people because I just didn't know how to address it, because all I did when I got messages was cry, because I wanted Yalcin more than anything. But I was also set in my mind that in a couple of months I was having surgery, so it was dealing with that from the March, April when I booked it all the way up to October for it to be changed. It's just, I knew what I wanted, and I wanted it like last year. I'm a very impatient person. What I want is what I want like now, so I didn't want to miss out on that opportunity. That's my own fault. I can't blame other people. Yes, they helped with my decision, but ultimately, it was down to me in the end. Me and my mum flew to Turkey. I didn't sleep the night before. Couldn't sleep. I was worried. We had a lovely time. We stayed in a hotel. We had a Turkish bath. We didn't have to buy anything. Food, drinks, everything was paid for, until we were like, we're taking you out for a meal and we're paying for the next meal. We're paying for it all because it was just too much. And my mum doesn't like handouts at all. And she was like, we're paying, I'm paying. That's final. Trying to remember everything because it was so much happened. I was taken to museums. I was shown the culture. I tried Turkish coffee, Turkish tea. I had a great time, and this wasn't with Basak, this was with her husband, Amit. He loves his culture, loves his country, and I loved how passionate he was about that. So I loved doing the museums. I love going somewhere and learning something new and exploring. We, on the final evening before I went to the hospital the next day, we went on a boat trip. My mum had money ready stuff, but before she could even get a card out to pay, Basak was like, no, she was very formal and got a card out, and my mum just felt like shit. We also went shopping on that day before the boat trip. My mum paid for all of her stuff. She didn't want Basak putting her hand in her pocket any more than what she already had, because my mum felt awful. Like, she really did feel awful, and I'm like, if they want to pay, they want to pay. I'm done with trying to argue it with them. And it seemed pretty nice. They paid for some of our shopping at the Grand Bazaar. I also bought some stuff myself. Mum bought herself a rug. The only thing that they paid for my mum, shopping wise, was some Turkish delight. My mum went to go pay for it, and Basak was like, no, no, no. And my mum was like, no, it's fine. And they literally seemed to have like a kerfuffle argument with words. And Basak put her card straight out, and it was like a fight just to get to the bloody card reader. But she bought some Turkish delight, and that was basically what she bought my mum. I bought my kids some stuff. But I bought whatever I bought in Turkey was with the cash that I was given by Basak. So I was given some money from Basak in regards to this tattoo that is on my arm. So that is my weight in pounds that I started at, and the booking surgery logo. So for getting that tattooed on me, I was going to get it on there anyway, because this arm's my family arm, my journey arm, and everything. Like, it's all, and booking surgery was a big part of my journey. It started my journey. And I was offered to be paid for the tattoos that I had, so I was paid that in cash when I was in Turkey, which I used for my shopping. So hypothetically, they paid for my shopping, but I used the cash that was given to me for the tattoo that was put on my arm. And then they did treat Stephen while I was in hospital to a Turkish tea set, which is like a brass bronzy looking thing, because he really liked it. And I didn't get it when we was out shopping on the Sunday, so I left it too late, and Basak sent a coordinator out to go and get that while I was in hospital, and dropped it off at the hospital, which like was just amazing. I couldn't fault it on how I was treated, but I also loved it at the same time.